So the UV scroll component looks like this, and you can put it on any mesh that has textures of any kind, pretty much. And it has a couple settings, the X speed and the Y speed, where this hub scene will kind of demonstrate what that does. This is scrolling a texture, its full length, 1 time per second. That's right? Am I right about that, Tom?
I think it's
Like from 0 to 1.
yes. It's how I think if you put a value of 1, that means it'll scroll through the entire UV map once per second.
Yeah, so you can see it a lot better on the vertical because of that dark line. And if you do it on more than one axis, you can set different speeds.
And question in chat: does it have an input to specify which UV? No, it's just
the default.
Because of how UV offsets work in Three.js. It's just all or nothing. So it applies to everything, but the light map, which is actually kind of a cool feature because your normal map and your roughness map, all that stuff will scroll. But if you have a light map, it will not scroll, which can actually be a pretty cool effect.
Then it looks like your lighting is static.
And
I just did a couple fancy things here where I distorted the UVs a little bit so that when the texture scrolled, it appeared to wobble. And this is a common old game technique. A lot of the old Nintendo games did. And if you do the same exact thing with a cooler texture like water, create the illusion of things or old things. Or if you scroll along a 3D object, get different effects like mountain or make a fall in a river. So these are all really kind of simple models and the scrolling in one direction, but the UVs themselves have been pushed and pulled out of alignment, pull and change speeds. And this technique is, I don't know, it's a really old technique and it's still awesome. Games still use it. In the case of this is the texture at the top here. This is a 1x16 pixel texture, and the UVs are all scrunched down into 1 pixel of space on the map. And so you can imagine if my cursor right here is the UV, they're just scrolling across in a loop. And the effect is that you've got a blinking object. It's just changing from red to black. In this case, I made more of a gradient, and so you get more of a pulsing effect as the scroll. So these techniques are really cool, and if you do it on something like this texture at the top, where each square is moving along its own row, create like a disco floor or something like that, some kind of display.
And what's great about these is they're really cheap. Computationally, because it's just all we're doing is setting a UV offset. It's a single uniform we're passing into the shader. So it's you can do these things without, right now, or before we introduce this stuff, to do this, a lot of people are creating videos, and those are the opposite of lightweight. Those are one of the heaviest things you can put into hubs.
A whole room where every wall was
there was
screen.
People to create a disco floor, they would just plaster it with a bunch of videos, and it's just performance wise that's really, really bad. So
especially on mobile,
this is much, much better.
And then here's an example of 4 different things scrolling. Create the illusion I'm sitting. Still want to make a scene out of something like this.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
And remember, right now those things are just scrolling on flat planes, but they don't have to be flat. It could be a curved background element, like a row of something that look like they're going around a curve. Or those just have a simple alpha channel.
And since you made this scene, we also added a new feature to the UV scroll component, which is increment. So you can set specific discrete increments to snap the UV scrolling to. And what you can use that for is to I think you probably don't have the latest Blender add-on, so I don't know if it'll be in there.
I don't think
but
it will be, yeah.
But if you get the latest one, you'll get that, and it'll allow you to snap to different increments, and that can allow you to do sprite animations. If you split up your UV into some discrete segments, you can actually have it. So instead of going smoothly from 0 to 1, you can set the increment to 0.25, and then it'll go 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1. And so you can actually set it to snap to increment.